We've talked a lot about criticism, offense. We're going to talk more about it. I don't think we can talk enough about it because I think it's a little difficult sometimes to get into our brains. If we offend devotees, it's going to show up in different ways in our lives. It's not always so obvious. But I was thinking of a devotee that I know that has a difficult time with a lot of things going on with leadership. And he's not alone. But I'm thinking that he's not doing well in his Krishna consciousness because of that, because he's always thinking about what he doesn't like, and then he's very critical. You know how people say, I don't want to be offensive? That usually means they are, or somewhat offensive in what is being said, or it's not that everybody would say what they're saying. So it does affect us. So we have to talk about it. So this perennial question, it's always, well, what if somebody's doing something wrong? Shouldn't we criticize it? And shouldn't we talk about it? And the answer is sometimes yes, sometimes no. The problem is when you talk about it, criticism and offense are very close. So some people cannot talk about a situation without offending. That's just how they are. So if you're like that, you have to be careful. Okay, I should deal with this situation. It's going to require bringing out some bad things about a devotee, talking about it, telling other people, discussing his faults. Some devotees have a nature where they can't do that without offending the devotee. They can't do that without that absorbing their minds, even when they're chanting their rounds. It just becomes part of their day. If that's your nature, it's probably better just to follow Bhaktisiddhanta's advice and say, if it's a fault, it doesn't give you a right to fault it. And just don't worry about it unless it's in your lap, it's come to you, you have to do something about it. The world's going to fall apart if you don't. If you're not able to handle it, it's just going to ruin you in the name of trying to help a situation. So Prabhupada gave this example of Nityananda saving Jagai and Madhai and said that they could do that, but don't try to do it if you can't. So sometimes we want to solve a problem, but we're of the nature that when we try to solve it, the problem becomes ours and we get infected. And then we make offenses. And then if we make offenses, it shows up. One of the first places it shows up is in our lack of taste for chanting. We don't really like chanting. We find it difficult to chant our rounds, to get them done. While we're chanting, we don't like to be chanting. That's a sign to look, am I committing offenses? Maybe the offense is not to a devotee. Maybe it's just I'm offending the holy name. I'm not paying attention. Or I've committed some seva aparad or dham aparad. But that's how aparad manifests. It manifests in a weakening of one's Krishna consciousness. So, therefore, Mahaprabhu always instructs, chant the holy name and respect devotees. Chant the holy name, don't offend the devotees, because when you do, it undermines the power of your chanting, the power of the holy name. So, therefore, Prabhupada says devotees are always cautious. So I'm not saying that we don't have to call a spade, but what I am saying is that for some of us, when we do that, it tends to cause us to make offenses. We can't do it. Not all of us can do it so neutrally. Or we can do it neutrally, but we can't stop thinking about it, talking about it. And that also can be problematic. So we just have to be careful.